It's a little bit. It's like reminds me of a sort of. It's the kind of Mancunian version of a sort of tech bro a lot of the time. A lot of dark colours. You know that thing that all the tech bros do. They talk about how they impersonate Steve Jobs by wearing the same thing all the time, and they're saying that is going to rule out one mother choice to make in the morning and make them concentrate more on work and be more focused,
Yes.
So I think he's a little bit like that, yeah.
We are going to ask you, do you dress well?
Every girl crazy about his shine as me.
All right, Andy Burnham. We're all doing our great ZZ Top guitar moves and beard moves. I love that, James. Good work. Andy Burnham will be looking to make a good impression as the public tune into the first days of his premiership. And as we all know, it's not what you say, but how good you look when you're saying it. And in terms of his fashion choices, Andy Burnham has been breaking with some ministerial conventions. We're going to talk about this with Times writer Simon Mills. Simon, good afternoon. Thanks for being here.
How are you?
I'm great,
Good.
thank you. For those who don't pay attention to such matters, let's talk about Andy Burnham's style or lack thereof. Do you have strong thoughts on this, please?
Andy Core, I think we're calling it. It's what did Kemi Bate not call it? A pair of eyelashes and a black t-shirt. I mean, I think that he is a kind of person that's adhering to the Soho House dress code. Famous is no tie.
Yes.
This has been seen as a kind of revolutionary act. I think that bizarrely, even though people are saying that he's a very different prime minister to Keir Starmer, he dresses in quite a similar way, in a sort of centrist dad way. I just think that Andy Burnham is probably slightly more particular and slightly more vain. He talks a lot about as all people from up north do, and I am one of them, I'm afraid. He thinks that everything revolves around Manchester and the north, and so he keeps calling them his Manchester clothes. Well, I'll tell you what, they're just ordinary clothes. He says that he favours sort of black things and plain sort of workwear and that kind of thing. I think that pretty much every sort of dad doing the school drop off these days dresses pretty much like Andy Burnham.
Yeah, you say that he calls them his Manchester clothes. I think we could call him his Uniqlos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's more much like I'm sure there's a Uniqlo or an Arquette or a Poff or whatever it is like that. I mean, it is contrived. I think it is as contrived as any politician. I mean, where Boris was kind of utterly sort of chaotic, and where Dominic got that show business. Dominic.
Yeah.
Was shambolic,
Yes.
and perhaps those two images were equally engineered and thought about before. But I'd say that Andy Burnham is what they call up north smart or smart casual. His nod to Manchesterness, that I think it's very worth pointing out. It's only a subtlety was very. He zips everything up. He fastens all the buttons. He's always done up to the top button. That's a very Manchester trait. That's what you'll find with the Gallagher brothers and every single guy that's ever been in one of those bands like Ride or Dodgy or all the indie Phil bands. He dresses like that. In fact, if you watch a video of the performance of How Soon Is Now by
Yeah.
God, my mind's gone blank.
No, that's okay. I'm still on Dominic Cummings a minute ago. I will come back to that in a second, because the chaos, studied or otherwise, I'm intrigued to Simon that you're saying that Andy Burnham's kind of smart casual look is
Dominic Cummings. Yeah, remember him.
Indeed. But you're saying Andy Burnham's look is contrived.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like reminds me of a sort of it's the kind of Mancunian version of a sort of tech bro a lot of the time. A lot of dark colours. You know that thing that all the tech bros do. They talk about how they impersonate Steve Jobs by wearing the same thing all the time, and they're saying that is going to rule out one mother choice to make in the morning and make them concentrate more on work and be more focused.
Yes.
So I think he's a little bit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was horrified talking to my daughter, who's 27, yesterday, and she looked across and goes, you're dressing a bit like Andy Burnham now. I said, I know. And it was come to some sort of shacket and T-shirt job with Gazelle runners, the Adidas thing, and I went, no, well, hang on, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and but she said, no, you've just gone lockdown full centrist dad thing. I was ashamed.
It comes to all of us. The jacket is, yes. I think they call it a chore jacket these days.
Sorry.
Expensive workwear, yeah.
Yeah, and I even heard of an even better description of it as a chemise de travail for the full pretentious.
Bleu de travail, actually.
What was it?
Bleu de travail. Okay. Working blue, they call it. Yeah.
Oh my God, it gets worse. Okay, God help us all. All right. Well, look, when you look at that's Andy Burnham's look, and I think the tie is kind of heading for the dustbin of history. Even though I've always been a fan of a tie on occasion, but that rot set in with Tony Blair, didn't it? He was kind of, "Hi, I'm Tony," and no one called themselves with titles and so on.
I think he took his tie off, though, didn't he? That was the thing. He took his tie off when he meant business. There's a very, very long history of politicians taking stuff off to show that they mean business. There's an incredible shot of Barack Obama, I think, in Maryland on the second round of his presidency, when it started raining, and he took his jacket off and he just owned the rain. It was a powerful image, and I think that's what Andy Burnham wants these days. I'm stripped off. I'm in shirt sleeves. My shirt button's done right to the top, but I'm action, yeah.
And is there a conventional dress code for male prime ministers? I mean, you mentioned Boris, so we all know about, as you say rightly.
Oh, it's a certain time. Sorry, what's he doing? I don't want the guy who runs the country to look like some guy, down at B&Q, on the Sunday. I mean, I want him to look like he means business in an old-fashioned way, really.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are images of him online. I had looked before of him in a shirt and tie, and he does talk rather lovingly. I mean, he's so northern, Andy Burnham. Every time if he buys an Armani suit, he has to specify that it was in the sale or a TK Maxx or something like that. He's not getting too above himself. I mean, the ironic thing is that if Richie Sunak had worn an Armani suit, everyone would have been absolutely horrified. But of course.
Do Fred Perry do suits, Simon? It was when you were talking about Barack Obama taking his jacket off in the rain. I thought about poor old Rishi Sunak standing.
That's right. Well, he didn't do as good a job. No, it was lots of rain on his shoulders. I think, wasn't there? It's tragic. But all these things are very important. I mean, Donald Trump. I'm no big fan of Donald Trump, but you know what he looks like. His uniform. It's very much him. As soon as you see that combination of that ghastly suit and the red tie and the sort of the white shirt. He's taken that look from a sort of coach driver.
Yeah.
Made it his own,
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Justin Trudeau's kind of close to midlife crisis continues apace now with Katy Perry and his outfits as he was in Coachella.
You're very clever there. I think that they subconsciously, maybe Andy Burnham is channeling Justin Trudeau. Yeah,
they're not a million miles away from kind
That's right. Yeah.
trendy dad sort of t-shirt.
Yeah, I think Andy Burnham's Adidas Sambas, unlike Rishi Sunak's, are black.
Yes.
That shows a sort of lack of fuss, and a sort of straightforward.
I was Simon, kind of slightly relieved to see Andy Burnham kind of really dodgy dad dancing to New Order on the other evening when he took on the pointing in the sky thing that he was doing that dads do. I thought if he started breaking into some sort of moves that were remotely cool, I said I might as well head for the retirement home. But actually, no, I could understand, or at least empathise with his terrible moves.
There is, I'm really sorry to reveal this to everyone, but there is no way to be cool when you're done, when you're as past a certain age. And Donald Trump has kind of shows that off, because he's sort of made it his own in a weird sort of way. Is that he knows to just bust a couple of moves and then stop and make a bit of fun out of it.
Yeah.
But there's no way you could dance the New Order up past 30 and look cool.
No, it's so true.
40, okay.
I think the people have suffered enough today. Simon, thank you so much for your take and thoughts on that. I really enjoyed that. That was Times writer Simon Mills.